Hello, Dreamcast interest havers. This is James from GG Dreamcast, and today we're playing a game called Maken X, which was, as you're seeing on the screen now, developed by ATLUS and published in 1999 in Japan, April 2000 North America. And I think this is an interesting game, especially for people who are fans of ATLUS, which I happen to be, because many of the people that worked on this game worked on it before they worked on a lot of other games that have become, since then, extremely popular and actually very highly critically regarded, such as the Shin Megami Tensei series, Persona series. But let's just watch this opening cinematic and then we'll start the game.
Sai, a spiritual existence in another dimension. The core of the soul. Face what's inside of you. This is the time to find out what's inside your heart. The future's in flux. A time of choices, decisions to make. There are those who will oppose you. The decay of the European Union. A confrontation between two giant powers. An echoed prelude to destruction. Look into the future. Artificial gods will reign over this world. Maken.
Okay, so you've probably already noticed, if you are a fan of ATLUS or you're aware of sort of styles of different development studios, that this game has art direction very reminiscent of the Shin Megami Tensei series, and in a way, certain aspects of the Persona series, maybe like this music in the option menu here. Sounds a little bit Persona-y. But yeah, there's a reason for all that, and it's because the art direction was done by Kazuma Keneko, who was the original art designer for Shin Megami Tensei and the Persona series, as well as some additional games like Zone of the Enders and others. And the music was composed by Shoji Meguro, who, of course, gained international renown when he produced the soundtrack for Persona 3 and Persona 4, and many others before and after that.
Is there anything else?
We haven't given it identification yet. Any ideas for a name?
Random numbers are fine. It's just artificial intelligence.
It still has life like we do. There's really no difference.
Fine. Then why don't we let it decide? We'll let Maken decide.
So I'm going to just name the sword the name that the game gives it, Machina, because I'm boring. But I'll also mention quickly before we proceed that this is the first ATLUS game that had full voice acting, so that's interesting. I mean, the voice acting isn't amazing in English, I'll admit, but it's interesting that they fully voiced the entire game.
Not too bad for an artificial brain.
Say it like you mean it.
Wow, there's an underground facility at the lab.
There, that's Maken. Has it been awakened yet?
Soon, my dear.
I thought the Maken project was strictly confidential.
What's Kay doing here?
Chief Sagami wants her to see everything. That's why he brought her here.
Is that thing really alive?
Well, we haven't implanted its psi yet. Its form is there, but its mind is empty.
Uh-huh. I know. Well, that's why we're giving it a mind.
A mind? How's that possible?
By temporarily transferring the psi of a human to its artificial brain. After receiving this stimulus, Maken will build up its own world of psi. As a result, Maken will become a mindful entity with its own self.
You've been studying, haven't you?
I'd like to work here one day.
Hey, why is Kay's tutor here?
Well, that's because Fei Chao has the gene that is required to wake Maken up.
Don't you think Fei's amazing? He's so cool.
Yeah.
Father, can I take a closer look?
Sure, go ahead.
This is the first awakening experiment ever. Are you scared?
No, I believe in your father.
All responses are positive.
Checking his eye. Rise and shine, Maken.
What? What's going on?
Follow the blood agreement, and you will protect everyone. Take the sword.
Faye! Faye! No! No!
Okay, we're going to start the first stage now. So you'll see right as we launch here, this game is not what you might expect when you see the name Atlus. It's not an RPG. It's a first-person hack and slash, a melee combat game, which is very different from what they're known for. Even back then, they were not known for this, so this is sort of breaking a mold. So combat is not, it's not the most fluid, as happened a lot with the Dreamcast. You know, we've got one analog stick. So there's no circle strafing, there's no looking in any direction other than the one you want to move. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but they did a pretty good job of making it... Oh, there's 2 enemies. See, there you go. There's the problem. I had no idea there was another enemy there. Yeah, so to continue on with where this game came from, this was one of the very few games that ATLUS developed that was not an RPG. I mean, really old people like me might remember Jack Bros for the Virtual Boy, which is an unbelievably expensive game these days. It's like $4,000. I can't believe it. So I'm glad I got mine in 1996 when nobody wanted a Virtual Boy. And you just smack that lever, as one would do. So, yeah, let's try this first. So you got very light platforming, some health, that's nice. Bunny hop around corners like we're playing Warzone. Charge up attack. It worked. I got hit a lot. It's alright. They gave me health. Should I go back and... No, I guess I can't go back. Seems like I missed a path there we could take. But anyway, speaking of paths, another interesting thing is this game has, I think it's 7 different endings depending on what decisions you make and who you brainjack, which is another major game mechanic in this game is the Maken, which is the sword that you have, can brainjack enemies, and you can gain their abilities and attacks and things like that. So I wouldn't say it's a revolutionary mechanic, but it's at least something interesting. And as we play through the game, we'll see how interesting it is. I don't actually know what that X does. I'm sure it's some sort of like temporary power-up or something. Oh yeah, definitely more powerful. So the game's separated into stages like this, where you have sort of run-throughs of a stage, defeating all the enemies and getting to the end, and then the overworld map, where you choose which stage you're going to play. Look at this guy. He's from Jet Grind Radio. Oh, so easy. Yeah, you get if you can navigate to behind the enemies, you get a critical, and it kills them much faster, as you'd expect. So this game takes place in the near future. Right? This looks futuristic, right? 1999, people. And development of this game started 2 years earlier, actually. Right after, or actually during, I think, during the development of Persona 2, the duology of RPGs. And same team from that game developed this one. So this is considered sort of a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, much like Persona, but Unlike Persona, this is the only game that has come out in this series. So there is no sequel. They did remake this game a couple of years after this Dreamcast version came out. They remade it for the PlayStation 2 with some additional changes. The most notable change being that oh no, that looks like trouble. Most notable change being the switch from first-person perspective to third-person. And they did that, I guess, because first-person games in the year 2000 were making Japanese players nauseous. Little slow, Jimbo. So, like I say, combat is it can be a little clunky. This lock-on helps a lot. And then it's very much sort of a dodge and parry type of game. It is the Dark Souls of Dreamcast. I won't say it.
I don't believe it! Sai is actually bonding to the sword.
I've never seen data like this. It's unprecedented.
Is Kay alright?
Well, it's not that simple. You see, Kay's and Maken's minds coexist in Maken's artificial brain. This situation is unique. I've never seen Sai bond like this. The Chief's the only one I know who might be able to save Kay.
Are you saying her mind will stay inside Maken forever? Well? You invented the damn thing, didn't you? Do something!
So, is Maken awake yet?
What is it this time?
Mr. Lee.
I see. It's all clear to me now. That's why Sagami's daughter woke Maken up. We know their plan's already in motion. We need to get going right now.
Who's he?
He sponsors this lab. Other than that, beats me.
What was the purpose of creating Maken anyway? And who took the Chief away? What's this all about?
Sorry, there's nothing you need to know.
What the? We nearly lost our lives.
Maken has godlike powers that allow him to destroy minds in the world of Sai. Its creation was essential to our plans. It's important for us to have his power over Sai to destroy them.
Now, who is them?
Them? I refer to those who would lead this world to destruction. Yet it is the work of one mind, the Devil's.
Devil's work? Oh sure, you've convinced me.
Terrorism, pestilence, poverty, pollution, worldwide oil shortage. There are even plans to use China and the US to start World War III. And all this is being done by someone who has the ability to control human minds.
Are you saying the world will be destroyed because of one person?
It's not important whether you believe me. It's the truth. Quickly, Their plan is already in motion. If we want to have even the slightest chance of success, we must leave now.
The latest medical device in psychiatry is actually a weapon! I can't believe we jumped into this so blindly.
I have to leave now. I can't waste any more time talking with you folks.
Rude.
Maken, you know your duty. We created you with one purpose in mind. The reason they kidnapped Sagami was to gain access to his knowledge of the world of Sai. So, are you willing to pursue them in order to stop this mad conspiracy?
Sure, we got nothing else going on.
The power that allows you to control a person's mind, along with their body, is called a brain jack. This is the godlike power that you possess, Maken.
If we don't do something for Kay now, what'll happen to her Sai?
She's still bound to Maken, isn't she?
Yes, I think she is.
Maken, extract that man's memory. Once you do, you can find out where they took the chief. Remember, it's all up to you to get him. Do you understand me? Maken, now that you know where the chief's located, go to Russia through China. If you stop at Hong Kong, you can meet Fei's sister. Otherwise, another Blade Master awaits you in Moscow. You should follow the Blade Master's instructions when you meet them at your destination. There are many enemies that will try to stop you. Don't give up, and you'll find a clear path through them. When you gain enough strength, you'll be able to brainjack people with your godlike powers. I can't control you, so I can only hope that you'll do what's right to the end.
What a small airplane. Would that fly?
So this is the Psi dimension. The world of souls existing in a plane beyond reality.
That's what that airplane was.
That explains why my mind has left my body, and I live as Psi. Well, my father told me I have nothing to worry about. Yes, nothing at all. Well, here we are. I haven't introduced myself. Oh, that's a nice name. I'm Kei Sagami. I'm 16 years old, and I attend Jisei High School. I have no siblings. My mother died right after I was born. You see, well, that's why my father was always around. So I wouldn't feel lonely. I really respect him. One day, I want to be a scientist and help work on the Psi project. Well, that's another story. I I guess I'm a little anxious. I talk a lot when I get nervous. Sorry. Something's coming towards me.
Sir, you have our thanks for flying the deadly skies and,
What?
by the way, prepare to die.
Oh my god.
How could you be so daft? Of course this is a trap. You're too high up, sweetheart. You're not going anywhere.
Let's just save real quick. In case I am terrible and die. So this shows you who you're currently playing as, or who your brain jacked into, I guess. No characters to brain jack at this point. So that's a big move. You can just hold forward and you jump over them and get the critical attack on the back. Kind of flubbed that a little bit. I'm interested in the PlayStation 2 version. I would like to play it to see if the control scheme is different with the DualShock. Because I really think having sort of, you know, more traditional DualShock control, 2 analog sticks would really help the gameplay quite a bit, but we'll see. Maybe I'll play it sometime. Use some health. Thank you, game.
There should be an emergency pod here somewhere.
So that's another thing. If you press the melee button when a projectile is about to hit you, you can deflect it back, or at least block it. You can deflect some, you can block others. Actually, some you can't deflect or block, so. Some simple platforming here. year. It's brutal.
Looks like there's someone over there.
Blocking in combat is just by pressing, done by just pressing down on the analog stick as an enemy attacks. What does this say? Northcote Air Cargo.
Is he a pilot?
Brainjack, yes or no? Let's do it. For our first Brainjack. This whole mechanic is very... For me, it's a very Shin Megami Tensei mechanic. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So now we have a... What is this? It's like a baton. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but this is also the first Atlus game to have full 3D cutscenes, both real-time and CGI.
Okay, let's go. Everything should be fixed.
Looks like the spare lines are good to go. Now we can access the central terminal. By the way, do you know what's the deal with Mr. Lee?
He's some old fart who thinks he's the modern messiah.
He seems like a very important person. He's got a lot of contacts.
Here's something I bet you don't know. His company isn't legitimate.
What? How come you never told me?
Must have slipped my mind. Besides, I don't care what they do, as long as I get paid.
I hope it's nothing too illegal.
Don't be such a prude, Anne.
Well, why Kay? Not Kay, though. This is horrible. If something happens to the chief, will she be like this forever?
Don't worry about Kay. We'll do something. Just calm down.
Don't make any rash promises, and don't drag me into this.
Why don't we just try and sort this out?
Whatever.
Oh, man. Plan X wasn't really just a simple medical device, was it? We created a living weapon. This thing destroys human minds.
Mr. Lee's probably behind this. And I'll bet the chief is too.
Kay had the key to awaken Maken. She must possess the D gene. Do you think it's just a coincidence?
Maybe Segami used her gene as a standard while developing Maken, without telling us a thing.
Experimenting on his own daughter. Who is this guy? But I guess Faye was supposed to wake up Maken.
Why wouldn't he tell us that Kay was his model?
I guess he didn't think it was necessary.
There's no point discussing it. This is all purely speculation.
We may find something if we look at the original specifications.
You know, those are classified, Anne.
Aren't you curious?
Reading secret documents without authorization? No thanks. Not interested.
But we've been deceived. Don't you feel like you've been betrayed?
I suppose that was his call. A wise man never courts danger.
Kay is a human being. We need to do something to help her.
Jeez. This is how people find out things they shouldn't know. Now I know how Adam must have felt.
As Eve, I'd have no regrets. Let's get access to the data.
I hope there's something in there that'll be useful to my career.
All right, nice landing. You're a pretty good pilot. I'm supposed to take another flight to Moscow from here. But you know, I think we're being followed. How about we go to another city? We better board the plane from there. What's that? Oh, I really don't have time to look for Faye's sister. Why don't you go ahead and decide how we're getting to Moscow?
So I think if you don't brainjack the pilot there, I wonder if you just can't proceed without brainjacking the pilot, or I wonder if the that little scene that we just saw changes. She said it was a good landing. You must be a good pilot, or whatever she said. So it'd just be interesting. I'd like to go back and play through it again and see if it changes. Oh, get owned. So if you're watching this and you want to let me know what you think of the music, I'd be interested to hear, especially if you're somebody who's played other Atlus games, Persona series, and Shin Megami Tensei. Can you notice the Shoji Meguro through line? Does this sound like Persona music, or I think there are elements here that sound very much like Meguro's work. Some of it. I think he hadn't quite yet been given the freedom to create his own sort of unique style that we've all kind of come to know and love after Persona 3 and 4. This person does not want to fight me. Just jet grind radioing away. Get over here. It's like I'm playing against a beat here. Yes. Come here, I'm a pilot and I got this baton. I wish I was still the one with the sword. There we go. Nice. Okay. It's probably not even necessary, to be honest. Oh, look at this! Outplayed! No, not really. There we go. Good block. Some HP. So a lot of places say that this is the first Atlus game that was not an RPG. That's not really true. It was one of the first, but like I said earlier, Jack Bros for the Virtual Boy was a sort of top-down shooter, and that game came out in 1996, I think. But it is fair to say that they did not make a lot of games that weren't RPGs. And it's fair to say that that's still the case, really. some light. Finally. If you hold the L button, you can look up and down, left and right. It's a little bit slow, so... So yeah, it's basically Dark Souls. Oh, I did it again. This is such a Dreamcast sort of like Shenmue thing to do. Look at all this stuff. Not as detailed as Shenmue. Could use some health. Oh my gosh! I don't love when the lights are out. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Literally jump scared me. I'm such a coward. Oh, this is bad. This is not good. No. Let's try it again. I'll probably cut that out from the final. I messed it up big time. Nice. Not sure if that's the exit. Let's go in here first. That's where we came from. Nothing over here. There doesn't appear to be any VMU functionality in this game. In case you were wondering, it just says the logo of the game, Maken X. I mean, it's a fairly simplistic game. There's nothing too sophisticated going on here. Hack and slash first person. Some good music, some good character design, an interesting story, which we'll get to more of, obviously, as we play. He kind of looks around like, where the hell did he go? 3 of these, this might be kind of a nightmare here. A little slow on that. Good block, bad block. Here we go, we got the GGs again, skating at me. Like I can't remember the cop's name. Why can't I remember it? I just played that. Zenigata? No, that's something else. Oh, this is not good. Oh no! Okay. Just one, we should be okay. Game is tough when there are multiple enemies coming at you. There's not, like I said earlier, the gameplay is not the most fluid, it's a little bit clunky. You just don't have that sort of fast movement that you have on other games, other first-person games like this. Nice. We did the thing.
Whoa! Looks like we managed to escape.
Just barely.
I guess everything is going as planned. So far.
Yeah. Doing well.
It's too bad we couldn't meet up with Faye's sister. I guess we didn't have to, anyway. Our priority is to save Father. Nothing else matters right now. Let's go to Moscow.
So we couldn't meet up with Faye's sister. I don't know what would have influenced that. You know, whether it was something that we had to do in the stage or if I missed something. But that'd be interesting to find out online somewhere, or maybe I can get a guide to this. I'm sure there's a game facts from 1999 somewhere on the internet. Okay, we're gonna take a break on Maken X for today, but I'll be back to finish off the game later on, and I hope you enjoyed watching this part 1 of my playthrough of this lesser known and somewhat underappreciated ATLUS game. If you want more information on this game and every other Dreamcast game, go to ggdreamcast.com and subscribe to this YouTube channel. See you next time.